Hello, friends. Today we are going to discuss a great novel, Women in White by Vicky Collins, an English novelist and playwright. He is particularly known to establish many rules of modern detective novel. This particular novel that we are talking about, Women in White, is one of the few novels that kept me hooked to it from the beginning to the end, as this novel belongs to the genre of mystery, suspense, making it a fascinating read for all the reader, irrespective of whether they belong to English literature or not. This novel was initially serialized in Charles Dickens' journal all the years round, starting in November 1859. It was a huge success, and publication of the novel in 1860, in fact, made Collins an wealthy, independent man. The Women in White was the key novel in establishing what became known as sensation novel. The genre include melodramatic novel and Newgate novel, which prominently focused on tales woven around criminal biographies and drew on Gothic romance. Whereas romance and realism had traditionally been contradictory modes of literature, they were brought together in sensation fiction. Sensational novels focus on shocking subject matters, including kidnapping, insanity, forgery, theft, murder, setting all these themes in ordinary, familiar, or somewhat domestic settings. The Women in White is particularly a intricately plotted story organized as a chain of witness statement from a wide diversity of character designed to unravel a cunning conspiracy against innocent women by a duo of memorable aristocratic monsters named Sir Percival Glyde and his companion, the Italian Count Fosco. It is ultimately about a degenerate aristocrat after a middle class woman's money that passes to him through their marriage. If the woman is declared dead, his man prepared to plot actual murder to retain his hold on the cash and also to keep his own desperate secret secure. Everything develops from one of the most famous scenes in Victorian literature that we have often come across, the late night encounter. In the novel, the late night encounter of Walter Hartright, the protagonist of the novel, with the mysterious lone woman near Hampstead Heath. After a midnight, a solitary woman, dressed from head to toe in white garments, her face bent in grave inquiry on mine, her hand pointing to the dark cloud over London as I faced her. This Hartright is entirely unable to locate this woman in class terms, as she is neither a lady nor of the humble rank. And although unaccompanied at the suspicious late hour, she is clearly not a prostitute. This is the enigmatic Annie Catterick, escaped from an asylum, who initially only serves to further the plot by acting as an uncanny double of Hartright's beloved Laura Fairley, the main damsel in distress. Fairley will be the target of Percival's Clyde and Foxo's cunning plot. That Anne Catherick's story is only unraveled in the margins of the central narrative, somehow further guarantees her enigmatic hold on the imagination. She acts as a powerful cipher. Colin used all the apparatus of Gothic romance in modern dress. The castle that is present in the novel becomes oppressive country house, Blackwater, with its decaying wings and oppressive lake. The dungeon is transformed into a lunatic asylum or domestic servitude in the marriage. The monstrous Machiavellian lord becomes the evil genius, Count Posco. The old feudal law of droit de seigneur is transformed into cynical man manipulating modern law about married women's property rights. Gothic Collins explored one of the key themes of Gothic fiction, that is, the world goes difficult when paternal authority is weak, perverted, or absent. Father, husband, other than the aptly named outright, are irresponsible or drastical in the women in white. The beloved Laura Fairley is rather insipid ideal, yet she and Hartright set up an intriguing and unconventional relationship with her sister Marian Halcombe. Collins continues the Gothic subversion of patriarchal authority over women. In the setting, women in Victorian England had extremely limited power, except as provided through their husband, father, or other close relative. Inability to control many situations or to challenge her tormentors to a physical fight. Even Marian Helcom, sister of Laura Fairley, is able and willing to take charge under certain difficult circumstances, is physically and symbolically helpless to respond effectively to plots forming around her. Collins took the central plot of women falsely imprisoned in an asylum under assumed name from an actual French case from 1776, which he read about in Maurice Majon's book, Recueil des Causes Célèbres. But sensation fiction felt so modern in the novel that it picked up on very contemporary events and debates too. The theme of identity is explored in the great length here. In fact, the question of identity has derived the story from the beginning to the end. Similarly, in Victorian England, social status was essentially unchangeable, and social classes rarely mix. The reality is showcased throughout the women in white and actual precipitates much of the plot. Laura Fairley and Walter Hartright are clearly soulmates from the beginning, but Hartright understands he cannot ask for Laura's hand in marriage because he is not her social equal, and Laura is engaged to Sir Percival in part because her father was eager that she may marry someone with the noble rank of baronet. Similarly, major characters are deeply impacted by the events of the past that have shaped their present and will influence their future. As in the case of Laura Fairley, who chose to marry with Percival Glyde rather than uh, Hartright, to whom he was in love, and it led to the drastic sequence in her life. In addition to exploring literary themes, the book also examines the idea that a person's self identification can change over time. Hartright, at the beginning of the tale, is simply an unemployed artist, out of wealth, out of spirit, and out of money too. But the end of the story, his health and spirit are revived. He is fully employed with international art commissions. He is also the husband of a beautiful, loving woman, owner of an estate, and father of a son who carries his name. Moreover, he has proven to himself that he can overcome physical and moral danger and successfully confront and destroy evil as he has done in the case of Percival, Glide, and Count Foxco. These are the some events that I have outlined here, but I'm not going to dwell upon the plot of the novel as I do not want to be a spoiler of the novel. Please do read and enjoy the marvelous plot of the story by yourself. I guarantee you won't regret. Thank you.